They either time traveled, that is the simplest explanation, or what's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching the Road to TF5. This is just a web series we're talking about Transformers last night. This is episode number 147, and in this episode, we gotta talk about marketing, specifically viral marketing. It has only been 3 days since the exclusive IMAX first look presentation for Transformers last night, and now we have our very first piece of viral marketing material in the form of a 30-second video, which is titled Microfish. I checked it out. It comes with a tagline which reads, "Behind every battle, behind every victory, lies a secret. Rethink the past." It's a pretty cool clip. It comes with a lot of very thought-provoking imagery, and when it says rethink the past, it actually refers to the fact that you should forget everything that you think you know about history, specifically Transformers history. What you think you know about the history of the Transformers is about to be transformed. I just came up with that myself. Pretty cool, eh? Anyways, so this video is titled Microfish. You guys know what a microfish is? Why am I even asking you guys? I mean, the camera's not going to talk back. Well, anyways, let me explain. A microfiche is a piece of technology that is used for researching. It's typically located in schools and libraries. You guys know what a library is, right? I mean, I'm only asking mainly because a lot of research is done online. Everything's on the internet. But anyways, a library is a place that you walk into. It's got a lot of books, and you can borrow books, and you got to return the books, otherwise you're going to end up with late fees. But anyways, so a microfiche is a device used for research, as I've already mentioned, and what the type of materials that you view on a microfiche is newspaper articles, specifically newspaper articles that are really, really old. I'm talking about old, like ancient history, okay? So all these little newspaper articles are actually like micronized. They're tiny, okay? And there's like a cluster of them, and they're on this clear film. So you insert it into the microfiche, you put this glass over it, and then you look through the viewfinder, and then it expands it all, and that's what a microfiche does. So it's a piece of technology that I don't believe that that you'll be using very, very often. But anyways, so this clip rather, it has a lot of like little newspaper articles that are from like a long time ago. I'm talking about like the maybe the late 1800s, early 1900s, 1910, 1920, 1930, 1940s. I wasn't very good at history. I was flunking history 12, okay? But anyways, so a lot of these articles that we see in this clip called Microfiche are or rather have images of the Transformers whom existed back during a lot of historical time periods. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna look at all these different articles, and let's see what we can see. Alright, so let's just start with this shot right here, and it says behind every battle. You see a lot of people with like people on horses, and I believe these are soldiers because it says behind every battle, okay? And I believe that the Cybertronian on the left is Hound. I can tell that it's Hound because if you look at his arm, his pointing arm, it actually has those ammo chain links, as well as the projectiles, like these missiles that he shoots out of his arm. They're located on his bicep, just like it did in Transformers Age of Extinction. Let's look at another shot of Hound, and it shows you right here. It says behind every victory. It says don't dread of victory, fight. I think it's just saying worth fighting for. Don't dream of victory, fight for. Well, anyways, I can't read all of that. It's cut off there. But there's Hound. It's a much clearer image. It's a close-up image of his face, and he's still chewing on that bullet just like he did in Age of Extinction. And it appears that he helped the soldiers the American soldiers win one of these wars in this historical time period. And I'm just really confused right now because it just I'm just wondering, like, did Hound always exist in the past? Like, did he exist in the past, or or is there time travel involved? Anyways, we'll get back into that. Let's look at this. Let's look at this image right here. Behind every victory. Once again, we see soldiers, and then we see a tank, and right beside the tank is, I believe this Cybertronian is named Bulldog. All right, and you can tell he's clearly a tank because there's tank treads on his hips, and also you see the cannons on his shoulders. All right, now let's take a closer look at this character who I think is Bulldog. So here's a closer look, and there are there is a what appears to be an officer's cap on his head, which is really bizarre to me because I thought that when the Cybertronians came down and they're in their Cybertronian protoform form, like in the robot mode, right, bipedal, I thought that they just scan a vehicle and they become the vehicle. I didn't think that they would get their humanoid-looking parts influenced by what a human is wearing, for example, because that's an officer's cap. All right, so does he scan the humans as well and get his parts influenced, like the way his appearance look influenced by a way a human looks? I guess that could be the case. I mean, that could really be the case. So that's something new. That's like a new concept that was introduced in Transformers Age of Extinction because of the way Drift looks. Why would he look like a samurai? So let's just take a look at Drift, because he also appears in this microfiche video as well. It says, "Lies a secret." Now here's our first look at Drift in this clip, and there are two of them. And first thing I'm wondering is it two different Drifts? Like, is it like, sorry, two images of the same character, Drift, or is it two different Autobot characters entirely that just happen to have samurai robot modes? So I don't know, but there's two of them, and I was just thinking that maybe this is Drift, but two different images of him wearing two different types of armor. But the big question is, why does he look like this? Because when he was in Age of Extinction, when he appeared in Age of Extinction, I don't think anybody ever questioned, or at least I didn't question, why Drift looks the way he looks. Why on earth does he look like a samurai? Sure, some of the toys that are not Age of Extinction toys or have anything to do with the Transformers live action universe did look like samurais. For example, Bludgeon, okay? So it didn't make a whole lot of sense why he would look like a samurai, but I didn't question it, okay? But now I think we should question it, because in this new image, or rather, if once the picture scrolls down, you can see all these Japanese people like seated and standing right below them at their feet, and that shows that Drift existed during feudal Japan, like during that time period. So perhaps he landed on Japan like many years ago, and he adapted that look, that samurai look, because he scanned Japanese samurai armor, and he adapted to that. So that's how he got that look. So if anybody was wondering how on earth did Drift get look like that in Age of Extinction, it's because it has something to do with his history. And then later on, he ended up becoming like a Bugatti Veyron sometime in the future. So I don't even know what his alt mode would have been back in the feudal Japan period, like during this time. But he definitely didn't transform into a Mercedes or a Bugatti Veyron. That would make no sense. But on the image here, that kind of looks like the front grills of a vehicle. So I really don't know. I'm just really confused right now. Let's take a look at this image right here. Let's see what we got. Okay. It says "Lies a secret," and then in this article, I believe this is German, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. And we have Starscream. I could tell it's Starscream right now just because of the physical body shape. He's standing behind these planes. I don't know what type of planes these are. I've only known that the planes with one single propeller and two like, I guess, wings, like these wings. I always thought they were called biplanes. Okay, so I'm just gonna call them triplanes because I see 3 of them. I could be entirely wrong, but there's a closer up image of it because it zooms in, and then this is a much clearer shot, and you see that it's Starscream, and it appears that he's either commanding these people or he's with them, as in he's in the same allegiance or alliance as the Luftwaffe. Okay, I guess my I didn't flunk history after all. But the Luftwaffe is the German Air Force. And so I could see a Luftwaffe logo on his arm, but the thing is that he still looks kind of like the body shape of the way he is in the Transformers trilogy. And in the Transformers trilogy, Starscream was F-22 Raptor, so that's a little bit confusing. Why does he have his Raptor form? It doesn't make any sense to me. It suggests that he could transform into one of these planes from the Luftwaffe, but it doesn't appear physically possible because look at the mass of his body. It's just too big to make up all those parts. I don't believe that Starscream looking like that could possibly physically transform into this Luftwaffe plane. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I guess he does, and there's a little bit of mass shifting going on. But once again, I'm still quite confused. I mean, this clip is not supposed to answer a whole lot of questions for us. It's supposed to raise more questions because it's a viral piece of marketing. Nothing is definitive. It's just supposed to make you go, oh, okay, that's interesting. Anyways, moving on. Let's check out the next one. We got Bumblebee. This is obviously Bumblebee because of the head, but I don't recognize any of his parts. These car parts are very much unlike any of the characters that the familiar characters that we just saw. We saw Drift, we saw Starscream, we also saw, who was the first? Hound, and they all retain their original vehicle parts, whether it be jet or a truck, right? Or like a sports car, or at least Drift looks kind of like his sports car parts. But anyways, Bumblebee has an entirely different vehicle mode. He just kept his head to make him recognizable, but I don't know what kind of vehicle that he transforms into, but it's definitely something that was during that time of World War. I don't know which World War, but it's definitely during that time, mainly because, well, you can see these planes in the background, which suggests that he was there during that time period. But he transforms into what appears to be like an armored transport of some kind. Yeah, and Bumblebee did exist much earlier before he met Sam Witwicky. Like, he's existed during that time period, which could potentially be either like 1930s or 1940s, but he was there for a while. So this is opening up more questions. Moving on, let's look at this image, Rethink the Past, and you can see ships here. I don't know what time period this is, but when I see ships, like built wooden ships with cannons sticking out of the sides, which like blast cannonballs, the first immediate thought is cannonballs, like Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay, so I'm just thinking, does Ironhide, who's located here on the bottom right hand corner, does he meet Captain Jack Sparrow or something? Like, is there a crossover going on? Because Ironhide, who retains his GMC top kick truck parts, is there during the time of Pirates. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I'm still getting more and more confused. I think it's very, very cool that the Transformers existed in the past. I'm just not making any sense out of this because Ironhide has GMC top kick parts to him. So, yeah, that's looking a little bit weird. I mean, if Bulldog looks like is wearing an officer's cap, okay? And if Drift is looking like a samurai, why doesn't and Bumblebee is having all these I guess World War transport vehicle parts? Why doesn't Ironhide have pirate ship parts to him, or like some kind of, why isn't he made of wood or something? You know what I'm saying? He has GMC top kick parts. That doesn't make any sense to me. Now finally, the last image is, it says right here, rethink the past, and I'm really not sure what this character is supposed to transform into, but he's a brand new character that we've never seen before. My immediate thought was Skyhammer, just because of the shape of him and the way he looks, the aesthetic of him. Skyhammer is a character who made it into a toy in Transformers Dark of the Moon, like the toy series, but he never made it into the movie. And this kind of reminds me of him. I'm not saying that it is him, but it reminds me of him just because of the overall look. I'm looking at this character, and he's not recognizable at all. Something entirely new, but it appears that he's one of those characters that genuinely arrived during that time, like that time period, World War II maybe, because what I can see here is warplane parts. For example, if you look on his shoulders, you can see that these are machine guns that probably stick out of the bottom of the cockpit. You know what I'm saying? And then on his the upper part of his shoulder, you can see that this is the cockpit, and you could also see that the wings stick out of his shoulders outwards, and you could also see that there's an American Air Force logo on the bottom of the wing right here, the star in the circle. So this is an American plane, and it's something that is very, very cool to know that the Transformers existed during that time, and then they also fought with whoever they allianced with. In this case, the U.S. Air Force. So that's pretty cool. Let's see if there's any more photos and images. Oh, that's it. So that's it. So it appears that we've seen several characters. We saw Hound, Bulldog, Drift, Bumblebee, Starscream, Ironhide, and whoever this is, who I really, really don't know. I would like to give a big shout out to Kyle Sarnek. He made a tweet to me, and he says, sort of looks like a P-38 Lightning from World War II. And then he shared with me the image, and you're right, it kind of does look like a P-38 Lightning. I mean, there could be like other jets, or rather planes, warplanes, that it could be, but I don't know about many planes during that time. But yeah, you're right. It could be the P-38 Lightning from World War II. It could be a lot of other things, but that's a very, very good guess. So thanks for tweeting at me with that. And really, that's all I got to say in this episode. What this piece of viral marketing video does is essentially it tells us that Transformers have existed during the past beyond what we've seen in the events of Transformers, which was like the Archibald Witwicky doing the exploration during whatever time period that was. And then it also goes beyond Revenge of the Fallen during the caveman time, I guess, where they discovered those primes and the Fallen. And it also goes beyond the history where the Russian and the American space race, and also the existence of the Transformers exists beyond the events of Age of Extinction, where the creators, or whoever those aliens are, cyberformed Earth, which made the dinosaurs extinct. That's the only history that we know about the Transformers based on the 4 films, because the films have always suggested that excuse me, that the Transformers or the Cybertronians have always existed in the past, and they have some connection with human history, or at least the Earth's history. You know what I'm saying? So this 30 seconds actually explains that they've existed like in different time periods. And based on what we've seen so far in Transformers: The Last Night in the marketing, it shows us that they've also existed in medieval time periods. So rethink the past. Forget everything that you think you know. There's a new history to be told about the Transformers. So that's very, very cool. Anyways, that's all I gotta say in this episode. Who do you think that this character is? I'm very, very intrigued. Let me know in the comment section below. And also, it only really leaves two options for the explanation of the Transformer characters that we know existing during the past. We see images of Starscream, Ironhide, Bumblebee, Drift, and Hound, and it appears that with the exception of Bumblebee, they retain the original vehicle parts that we've seen in the last 4 films when they appeared in those last 4 films. All right, so it only explains it only can have 2 explanations, and that is they either time traveled, that is the simplest explanation, or they existed during the past and the designers didn't bother to design older robot designs for them. That's the only explanation. The designers got lazy and they just thought that, okay, we're not going to bother designing older versions of themselves. We're just going to just suggest that they existed in the past, and that's it. We're just going to leave it at that, and we're going to leave them looking the way they look, just to make it so that the fans can recognize them. And I think that's kind of lazy. Hopefully, it's not the case. I would prefer time travel over that, okay, over the second explanation. But I'm just wondering, why did Ironhide and Hound retain their original parts, but Bumblebee didn't? You know, he doesn't look like a Camaro in that clip. So that's why I'm so confused. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And it also means that, are they trying to say that Ironhide came to Earth during World War I or II, and then he came back again in 2007 in the first Transformers film because he arrived via protoform? So did he go back to space and then come back? That's highly possible. I mean, space bridge technology could have existed back then, so they might have just gone back and forth from Cybertron to Earth whenever they felt like. Anyways, that's all I gotta say in this episode. Why don't you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyways, let's do birthday shoutouts. They go out to Ludwig Hopland, DJ Sparky 24, Samuel Matamba, Bernard Beebe, BP4 Gaming, Eden Hazard Jr., and Awesome Eric Isaac. Happy birthday to all y'all. Hope you have a good one. Thank you for being part of the Ragin Nation. And that's all I got to say in this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you did enjoy it, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, the Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, Ragin Nation. My name's Alex. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace. And whoa, that was. They showed a lot of stuff. They didn't show like a lot of robot